You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
This is the Happy Hour Network.
Pay attention, son. This is for your own good.
Yo, this is the Heartthrob G Stelio, and you are now tuned in to the Earnestly Speaking podcast, which means EJ doesn't have to walk the dogs, which means EJ doesn't have to change a diaper, which means EJ got permission from his wife to do this show for you. Bear witness.
The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking
Podcast.
Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heartthrob in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
YouTube.
Get down. The YouTube is
2 weeks in a row. Welcome to the Speaking Podcast, man. With Kyle Nash, of course. Shooting the Game Report every Tuesday. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, man, I'm great. I love showing off this the studio that my wife built for me, essentially. And look, to all the Patriots fans that got ticked off at me on Twitter, all I have for you really is get over it. The film is out there. Leave me alone. Cam Swag. Boom.
Oh.
Here goes Superman again. Oh my gosh.
Dab on him. Yeah. Dab on him. Yeah. I saw the little our old friend, Mr. Mojay's himself, Ray Harris, and you got into a little bit of discussion. Now, our boy Ray Harris, of course, a big Patriots fan, and he's very, 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 the most interesting man on Twitter sometimes. I mean, and that was an interesting discussion you guys are having on there.
Interesting. I thought he just, called me nonsense and then ended up saying the same exact thing I said anyway.
Yeah, so I saw that. I saw that at the end. I was like, wait, you guys kind of saying the same thing in a sense. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, he's the one throwing slings that I have nonsense, and then he matches. I got nothing.
Right. Well, even though the Pats did lose. Yeah. They did dodge a bullet with this Gronk injury.
Oh yeah.
The report is now. Here's the thing I don't understand, and you know how the Pats are with how they do things. They're never always forthright when it comes to these injuries. Like Tom Brady's always on the injury list. He's fully healthy and all that. They're saying that Gronk is now week to week, and it's all about pain tolerance and whether he can handle that. I don't know where to go with this. I mean, the injury looked bad because it wasn't so much the way he got hit. It was the fact that his reaction on the field, it looked like, oh, my God, this could be a season ender. And, of course, if that happened, and we've been seeing this all year long, you and I, about Gronk being their MVP and their most valuable player. And, but when I say that, a lot of the Brady stands out there start saying, oh, wait, whoa, Tom Brady. Look, we're not knocking Tom Brady, but Tom Brady is not 25 years old anymore, okay? Rob Gronkowski changes the way you play defense. Like, certain guys, like I always compare to LeBron James. Like, when you approach a game, you're geared to stop this guy and what he does with his talents, okay? Rob Gronkowski is that kind of effect on a defense. Like, you're literally bringing 2 or 3 extra guys just to stop him, which now opens things up for Amendola and Edelman. Now, with him gone, if he was gone for the year, this AFC is wide open at this point.
Yeah. It's not even a middle ground. So first of all, let me echo these people who think saying Gronk is the Patriots MVP is a knock on Brady, which again, that's like saying Jordan is an MVP is a knock on Scottie Pippen. Stop it. Go home. You're drunk. Okay. Look, there was a quote I heard this morning that said, "Oh my goodness, it didn't start out with oh my goodness, but so much of our offense goes through him. If Gronkowski were out, we would have to change our offense in the way we move the football. Now, you may wonder who had that quote, EJ, and I don't know an athlete's middle name as well as you do, but if I knew it, I would use it, but I'm going to use a different one instead for focus. Tom Bieber Brady. That's the guy who said that. He is on air somewhere being recorded as saying so much of our offense goes through Gronk that we would have to change the entire way we will try to move the football with him off the field.
He said it. He said it.
He said it. Brady said it. If that isn't evidence of what we've been saying, to quote you, since week one, I don't know what else is. Get off me, Patriots fans. You're doing it wrong. Okay? Thanks.
Yeah, they're all mad. They're all mad. I had this conversation yesterday with a couple buddies of mine who disagreed with me. It's like, oh, no, Tom Brady. Watch the way defenses react to this team. It's about what Gronk does. Yeah. Everything else is down the middle. Like, oh, we got Amendola, like Edelman. Yeah, but those opportunities won't be there without Gronk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how people don't see that. I don't understand people do not see that. I don't understand that.
Aaron Dobson became a star for this team in 2013 with Gronk on the field. Okay. Mm-hmm. And granted, it's because they had so many receiver injuries. I think Edelman was even among them in this case. The whole Welker situation. If he was still there, which I don't think he was at that point, he was on his way to Denver by then. 2013, yeah, he's in Denver. You know, Aaron Dobson and Anthony Perkins, I think I don't remember his last name. I don't know. You don't know who he is now because he's probably not on the roster. But those were the top two receivers and Gronk.
Right.
You know.
Well, the Pats went down. Okay, that's the big story of the weekend. Obviously, you know, they lost the first game.
It is.
Looking at the schedule, I mean, the week to week thing. You know, we don't know. It could be 2 weeks. I'm hearing 2 weeks. Could be a little longer. Could be maybe next week is back. I don't know. But let's just say it's 2 weeks. They play Philly, and I believe they go to Houston after that. Right? Which you'll be at that game actually in attendance.
That's right.
Philly's still a win, right? That's still a win. Philly's is atrocious, which we'll get to later on in this podcast. They're still atrocious.
Yeah.
They can still win that game, right? At Foxborough, right?
The Patriots still have Scott Chandler. Everyone seems to be forgetting that Scott Chandler was still a starter at another offense. What is wrong with these people?
I love Scott Chandler.
Oh, he's great. I still have no. No, I know why they got rid of him was because of money. Oh wait, it couldn't be. They paid Charles Clay even more. I don't get that. I'm going to say that Scott Chandler is the worst. Not the worst. Charles Clay could be the worst acquisition based on the value of it. But parting with Scott Chandler and then coming back with Charles Clay, I just that baffles me. There's probably worse roster moves out there. I just can't come up with them right now on the fly.
Based on the value, yes, correct.
So
paying a lot of money for that guy, but you got another guy who could have given you the same production for a lot less money.
Better production,
I see that.
I would argue.
But Clay was good. Clay was good early in the year. Actually, he was actually at one point for a good 2-3 game stretch. Was Tyrod Taylor's best weapon for a little while, and then.
Well, any tight end is early on when a quarterback is trying to get into a system,
right?
But I think Watkins was trying to get past some injury stuff. I mean, there were a lot of injury issues in Buffalo earlier in the season.
Oh,
so
yeah.
No accident that at that point, Charles Clay rose to the top a bit. But the only other decent game he had was in one of the Miami games, he managed a touchdown. Ooh, sweet revenge. I don't get it. You know.
Sweet revenge. Now, here's the question now, because now look at the AFC. Since he's bounced back and won their game, they're 9-2. Denver, of course, beat New England. They're 9-2. Can you see a scenario where maybe New England loses a few more games, maybe 1 or 2 more games, maybe Denver or Cincy catch fire here late in the year, and then you can see a switcheroo of the seeding? Could you see that happening or no?
So first off, the Broncos and Bengals play each other on the way to finish up this season. So we
right
for that game. Okay. I don't know who that would be immediately. If I had to pick that today, that's a real tough game to pick. Once I get more film on Osweiler, you know, I'll feel better about what I would pick and what decision I would make. Or maybe not. It could still just be kind of a dead heat. I say all that to say this. If you look at Brady's schedule, I think you and I might be in agreement. Granted, I don't have it in front of me, so I could be forgetting something. But the highest likelihood of loss actually comes in 2 weeks against the Texans.
Yes. All of a sudden now that game, and Houston's playing very well. All of a sudden now the Houston Texans, not so much a gimme anymore. And then if Gronk's not there, I don't know. The defense is playing better again. Your boy J.J. Watt, I don't know.
I mean, he did kind of sack Drew Brees an awful lot, but I mean, that's not the same.
You and your damn man crush.
What's that?
You and your damn man crush.
You talking about that guy right there? This guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm talking about Russell Wilson, 5 touchdowns, but that's okay.
Hashtag you problem. Wait, 5 touchdowns. You want to take this here? Because I can tear all that apart, please.
I was kidding. I didn't watch the game. I was being funny.
I know you didn't. Because if
I told you.
all the smack I talk seriously. I mean, the 5 touchdowns aside, a lot of breaks were handed to the Seahawks, but Russell Wilson had his best game. He did the most by far in 2015 to quote unquote earn a win in my mind.
Right. Correct.
That he got.
Correct. So you most likely the switcheroo won't happen because of that Broncos Bengals matchup is coming up very soon.
Right.
Gronk should be back. I would say week 15 around there, maybe most likely based on the reports. Of course, you can't trust reports because it's Bill Belichick and the way he does business is not normal to say the least. But the Pats could still win 3 more games in the schedule. I mean, they got to play what? They play Houston. We said 2 games. We said Philly, Houston. There's another game in there, easy game in there. Tennessee.
The Finns are in there too, right? So
the Jets becomes a tougher game now if Gronk is an issue. And then Miami. I guess Miami, whatever.
Miami game. Just stop it, okay? Just stop trying to be nice to your neighbors, okay?
No, I'm not trying to. They're terrible. They run their team terribly. They're bad. That's it.
Okay.
No, and here's the funny part too. A little off topic here. I'm not sure we got wind of this story that happened before the year started. Stephen Ross, before the season, started trolling Mickey Harrison, the Heat owner, saying that, okay, now that LeBron's gone, we're going to take this town away from you guys now. Now is our time.
Stephen Ross.
Something that, and of course, Mickey got back to him this weekend after the loss to the Jets. So, yeah, about that.
I should hope he did.
Because, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Steve Ross isn't trying to build that team. He has spent money. I'm not going to sit here and say Steve Ross has not done anything to help that team because he has spent the money to help build that team. I mean, look, he paid out his ass to pay for Sue, which I thought was a bad contract because of the money versus what you could have spent around.
Well,
he is trying, but you're dissing the guy who's brought 3 championships in 20 years. I'm saying
throwing money around does not equal success. Just see Dan Snyder throwing money at Albert Hainsworth and Adam Archuleta, okay?
How about bringing football guys there, football savants? How about bringing great scouting guys? See your division round, for example, New England Patriots. The record.
I mean, that's a good model. I'll even you don't even have to go right to the Patriots. Even though they're horrible this year, you know whose model I'll take? I'll take the Baltimore Ravens.
Amen.
Is already a Hall of Fame tight end, and if it were possible to get 2 busts in the Hall of Fame, he deserves the second one as a GM. There's no middle ground there.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah. So, most likely, the Pats will be a number 1 seed still, right? You think that's still going to hold up?
Yeah.
No slip. You don't see number 2 seed, maybe? Nothing. Maybe someone gets fired? Okay.
I cannot even have that discussion until they lose another game, which I don't think they will. Granted, I did pick 14-2 to end the season. I just don't see it happening. Unless
so you say they might run the table rest of the year then?
It's definitely what I'm saying. Unless they sit Brady in week 17 to rest him, which
knowing that locked up Brady, yeah.
Yeah, unless you see that and Garoppolo loses a game, that's the only real scenario I see them losing another game. But they won't do that until they have the bye locked up. So
right, because I'm not 100% sure how this works. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know to the science what comes first. But if Denver and New England are tied, doesn't tiebreaker go first?
No, I believe
it's conference record, right?
It's conference record. That's correct. Yes, it should, but whatever.
Yeah. Because it was tiebreaker was the matchup, Denver has that already in their back pocket. So that's good. Speaking of Denver, week 2 of Brock Osweiler looked pretty good. I mean, he was shaky early in the game, but he made the plays necessary to make late in the game. Made some great throws in the snow, man.
Yeah.
Sanders to Thomas. I mean, this is 2 weeks now, and Denver's doing things they couldn't do with Peyton early in the year, consistently.
Kind of. Well, okay, so first of all, let me say this. You
Okay.
talking about this game opening up with Osweiler struggling. That ain't true. That ain't fair. Okay? First of all, the defense came out and had a bad plan in trying to one-on-one Gronk with a Gurley man. No, not Todd Gurley. I mean a Gurley man, okay? And
Right.
we saw what happened there. He manhandled his way to the end zone, okay? Then, when they're on offense on their opening drive, their first play is a run. You're trying to tell me that Belichick don't see that coming? That they know you're going to try to protect the guy on your roster, that you're going to try to protect the guy on your roster that's not a guaranteed Hall of Famer? If you really wanted to surprise Belichick and actually do something with that first drive, guns blazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it failed. Bottom line. Then, okay, if that's how you want to do it, if you're actually surprised by the fact that Belichick is keying the run first, then you decide to open the playbook. Lo and behold, look what happens, man. Look, I'll say this about that. The one single impressive thing is actually something where he was away from the football, and it's him in overtime in the definition of a clutch situation, checking to a run that essentially won that game. Now, granted, that was some garbage defense by the Patriots. I'm taking nothing away from that. But, what he did checking out of that is proof of maturity that people look at him like a rookie because they haven't seen him playing. I mean, the most movement they've seen in his arms is him raising his arms over his head when Peyton Manning looks like he's about to be rested and then goes back in the game. He's like, oh, come on! That's the most arm movement on a football field in the regular season we've seen in Osweiler. And now he's reading offenses in a manner that we can confirm some starters currently aren't doing. Like, I'll pop quiz you right here. Right now, today, Brock Osweiler's already in the top 15, right? Top 20 maybe.
Honestly, the sample's small. You have to put him in there.
It's a small sample. It's not a good reading, but you can already. I'm pretty damn sure you can find at least 10 starters, if not, well, we'll say 16 because that's half the league. That you would rather have him versus them on upside alone.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. And what helps him too, also the fact that he has a pretty good team around him as well. Pretty good team.
Yeah, I said that going into this game. While I was never going to be brave enough to pick the Broncos, and I'm not insinuating.
I did actually. I picked the Broncos with the game because of the injuries.
Okay.
Once Amendola was announced to be dressed.
Well, okay. Good for you. I'm talking about my weaknesses, not your strengths right now. Stop being so selfish. This is about me. Okay? I'm trying to be a real man over here and bare my soul. And all
real man of awesome.
I am the king of the check down. Not really. But when I say all that to say, I made a comment that there are still members of this defense that carried Tim Tebow. Okay? And all that Osweiler has to do is be half of what Peyton Manning is. And it's going to be a dangerous team. And we saw that on Sunday. Bottom line.
Okay, at this point then, we could say now that at least for the foreseen future that this is his team right now, right? Are we comfortable saying that now that through 2.5 weeks, I say half because he played that second half of that KC game, we could say now that at least for the foreseen future, at least the next 2-3 weeks, he's going to be the starter, right? He has to be the starter, right?
So for the next 2 or 3 weeks is the easy question. You're asking the easy question right now. Okay, I got to be honest with you. Of course he is. But I don't envy Greg Kubiak. First of all, because up to this point, the best quarterback he's ever coached was Matt Schaub as a head coach anyway. All right.
Maybe not anymore. Maybe Brock to 2 weeks.
Coach, I mean, then he gets a chance for Peyton Manning, who, may not fit his system, but fine. Oh, wait, he's old and his body's breaking down in front of him. Brock Osweiler could conceivably be the best quarterback he's ever coached and end up being the best quarterback he's ever coached. But even still, if you're Greg Kubiak and when you're in the playoffs, you have to try to be the guy that sat Peyton. F that job. I don't want it.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing Kubiak does have, though. He has John Elway, who does not give a rip.
That's true, but that doesn't change my answer either. I don't want to be the one that's in the meeting room, like one of these scenes out of Hard Knocks, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Peyton. Yeah, having a good day today. All right. Listen, I'm going to cut right to it. We're going to go with Brock today. My spine begins to tingle even thinking about this interaction. How? No, not about that life. But if they
not about that life.
Yeah, right. But if they don't do it and they collapse, it's all on Peyton. If they do it, they better do like your Heat did. Specifically, I'm referring to Pat Riley when he told, oh my gosh, Stan Van Gundy, nah, I got this. And won the championship.
06 Heat, right. I remember that.
If you sit Brady, if you slam that proverbial bag on the table, boy, you better come home with at least a Super Bowl appearance, if not an outright win.
Well, here's the thing. To me, the conversation is easy. Peyton, guess what? We're now 3/4 in the year. You have 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. The numbers tell you that. The numbers tell you exactly the problem is right there. He's the 31st rated quarterback in the league.
I mean, the film
in a league we just said that has more bad than good quarterbacks.
True.
He's the worst of that.
Well,
based on this year's performance. That's all we can go on it now. Look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's a top 10 all-time great.
Well,
but at some point, Father Time wins.
Well, that's true. Please don't bring up Kobe Bryant in the same sentence as Peyton Manning because of
why?
The style of human beings that they are not the same.
Well, we're not going to dilute their accomplishments versus who we like, don't like off the field, off the court. That doesn't matter.
At
some point, you have to either relinquish some control, or you're done. The numbers. Look, Peyton Manning is at a point now where he's losing games for Denver. He's losing games for them, and he's almost lost more games. He got bailed out by defense 4 times this year.
He's also won some games with his arm too.
He won one game against Casey. 2 games. Casey and Green Bay is the only games I can really remember that he actually won.
He said, I'm going to give him credit, even though I'll grant he started the fire. He's the one that saved all the children in the orphanage with the Browns too.
Okay, I'll give him that game. That's it. But there's been 3 or 4 games this year where if a pick 6 don't happen, they lose that game. Oakland
or a fumble return. No, I'm with you. I'm not telling you it's not true. But I'll tell you what. You and I both know it's the right decision. We said that. All I'm saying is I don't want to be the poor bastard that has to tell him.
I don't think John Elway gives a shit, to be honest with you. John Elway is that guy. He does not care.
Yeah, I mean, he sent away Tim Tebow while he was still the darling. He would probably tell you, I sold the stock while it was priced way too high.
So, Kyle Nash, you're the coach of the Broncos right now. Brock is your starter going forward until?
I put stock in Brock, baby.
Okay, so you're not on a week-to-week thing. You're like, you're the guy. Win me a championship.
Well, I'll put it this way. Here's the one place where being injured for a more significant period of time has actually helped Peyton Manning. There's a longer period of time Peyton's in rehab, and Brock is still officially, quote, experimental. If he completely melts down and starts looking like, one of those Joe Flacco specials where he throws 5 interceptions or something. Or Mark Sanchez. If he does a butt fumble while throwing 5 interceptions.
He's too tall to do it, though. He's too tall to do a butt fumble. It has to be like a helmet, like, never mind.
Well, see, if he manages the butt fumble at 6'8", you definitely need to pull him, right? That's the point.
Yeah. That's true.
A better point than you realized.
At this point, I think what we're saying here, I think it's Brock's job to lose at this point.
Yeah. If Peyton Manning were back from injury now, he'd be done for the year. The fact that he's still injured and rehabbing gives Brock more time to still be experimental and possibly lose the job. which I don't think he will.
Let me ask you a question. All records aside, forget the records. You're an NFL fan. Which division always interests you the most?
The North, AFC North, without question.
I forgot. You're the Steeler Ravens homer. Forgot that. So you're the wrong person to ask that question.
Rivalry in the league. There's not a middle ground. Are you high? You tell me another rivalry.
Maybe look at my eyes, maybe.
Who's no in the shape of a Z, and he still wins the goddamn game. You find me that rivalry, EJ Christian. You do it. Soft ass.
So angry. You're so angry. I want to say the NFC East just because, but it's not even because I'm the Giants fan. Just because the NFC East is always the most interesting division because it's the NFC East. It's the media capital of the world in terms of the teams: Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, Eagles. I mean, here you go.
Just because all the cameras are there, don't make it more interesting. Now, you also have to define it's interesting. I'll give you this, EJ. I sure as hell hate trying to predict the NFC East more than any other division because you never know what the hell, man. Look, Forrest Gump ain't got a truck full of box of chocolates as far as not knowing what you're going to get when it comes to NFC East. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If that's how you define interesting, I'm in your camp. I'm in your camp. You're talking about what draws my attention most? Man, I'll tell you what. You have the comic relief in the Cleveland Browns. Sorry, sportsologist, I said it.
Oh, God.
The whole thing with the Ravens and the Steelers and the best rivalry in the NFL at current, and the Bengals not knowing what they're going to do, but they're always a good
they're playoff team. But they're playoff team. They're playoff team. That's it. They're ready to dance.
You know. Bottom line.
The NFC East as follows. Redskins 5-6. Giants 5-6. Eagles 4-7. Cowboys 3-8. And the playoffs are today. The Eagles are the Redskins are division champions.
The worst record in the conference held by your Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Well, it's kind of unfair though, considering that they didn't have Romo for 9 games this year.
Bro, the Eagles. I mean, I'll grant, but first of all, the Cowboys should have beaten the Falcons, except for Jason Garrett refusing to run the ball in the fourth quarter.
The Cowboys should have won every single game this year except for the Panthers and the Patriots game.
Should have. I don't know about that. Well,
yeah. Look at all the games they lost. Saints game up late.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Falcons game, yes, correct. Who else? They lose to. They should have won.
There was at least 2 games I felt like Whedon would have won, and
Giants game should have won that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as a Giants fan.
Yeah. They had it. They tried to lose to the. Oh no. That was the Giants that tried to lose to the Niners. My bad. I got mixed up. Anyways, yeah. But that's all I'm saying is I don't want to hear about no Romo. It's a factor, and fine, but that doesn't excuse 9 straight.
As bad as the division is, and as bad as the Eagles are and have been all year long, and the Chip Kelly thing,
yeah,
they're only a game out.
Yeah,
they're only a game out. So here once again, the Giants missed a gold opportunity. This is why I was so pissed on Sunday as a Giants fan. Is that you win this game, you have now put a stranglehold because now you have you own the tiebreaker against the Redskins because you beat them twice. Okay, had you won that game on Sunday, but you didn't do that, so there you go. The Eagles would have been 2 or 2 back.
Yep.
In division, and slumping. The Cowboys will have been dead to rights, of course, at this point. Now the Giants losing now makes the division even more interesting, despite the records now. And you look at the schedules now. Giants schedule ain't that easy going forward.
No,
still got to play Carolina, still got to play Minnesota, still got a Philly game in there, which is always interesting because of the division rival thing. They got to play the Jets this week, Miami in 2 weeks. Ain't easy. It's not easy. You can argue the Redskins actually have the easier schedule. You 2 teams.
You could argue that pimping might be easier than the Giants' remaining schedule.
And yet, are we trusting the Redskins to close the deal here?
No.
I say no. Exactly. There we go. And that's the conundrum of this whole NFC East thing.
By the way, just real quick, the most unjustified smack talk I've ever seen is the "You Like That" by Kirk Cousins. The only thing as bad as that I could come up with in recent history is when Vince Young, as a backup for the Eagles in 2011, tried to call his team a dream team. Okay? That's how bad it is.
and that year it ended at 4-12. Well, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Here is the Redskins' remaining schedule. Dallas Cowboys. Wait, hold on. No, they play the Eagles actually this week first. I think. Hold on. No, it is the Cowboys. They them twice. Cowboys,
right?
Then at Chicago, which I think Chicago wins that game. To be honest with you, Chicago's is hanging around. Thanks to the Falcons, of course.
Hold on.
The Bills, which at home, Skins is a really good home team. So I don't know. This could be a washed game here. Eagles at Philly, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And at Dallas. See, these two Dallas games are gonna be easy games now because no Romo, Dez still banged up. By the way, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm pulling Dez this year.
I mean, if he's hurt, that makes sense. I'll say this: you say that those Redskins games against the Cowboys are easy. The Cowboys thought the same thing last year, and that's when Romo got hurt. Was in one of their early losses when they played the Redskins.
Yeah.
But
the Cowboys are. I mean, Matt Castle again. Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not saying I'm not going to pick them to win the game, but when you have an O-line, which the irony is that as good as the O-line is, all the Romo injuries, that have happened, Reza said to me, well, how could you say that O-line's good? It's because teams are going out of the way of their blitz and send more players than they have.
And risking that, yeah.
Yeah, because they can't beat them. Which tells me that this new running back core having a few issues blocking here and there.
What's the magic? What magic number do you see here for the NFC East? What to win the division? What do you see? 8-8 is the lock. 9 wins, 7 wins, maybe.
If I was a real smartass, I'd say 6 or 7. But
I think 8 wins still takes it.
As somebody who worships playoff football like I do, I cannot be such a heretic to say 7 wins. I'm going to say 9 wins and keep optimistic that somebody does their bleeping job in this bleeping division.
If you say 9 wins for the Eagles to do it, they got to run the table. For the Giants to do it, they can't lose no more than one more game, as well as the Redskins.
Right.
I'm looking at the Redskins schedule here. I see it's just a lock wins here. Okay, let's say they split the Cowboys. Division rival, split the Cowboys. The Bears are a loss to me. I think Chicago's is a lot better team than people give them credit for. Buffalo is interesting because I think that's the game. I think really that's their toughest game of the stretch. Really, is Buffalo because even though Buffalo's been struggling lately, Buffalo's still good enough to win games. On any given Sunday. So I see maybe 2 wins here moving forward. 3 if Philadelphia calls it quits by week 16,
which they will.
So. I remember they've beaten the Eagles. Who won that Eagle game? They won that Eagle. Yeah, they won the Eagles game actually the first time.
They did.
So
they were losing heavy, and then
right
back, and on the last drive,
right,
kind of decided, hey, let's go ahead and do good one drive and win this game. But I'd remind you, by the way, you talk about the Eagles would have to run the table. If that's starting this week, then they're already screwed because they're playing the Patriots on Sunday.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and that's even without Gronk, I'm still picking the pass to win that game big.
Yeah. Scott
because
Brandon LaFell are enough there. Just saying.
Yeah, because Brady. Yeah, because Brady. Meanwhile, the Giants, like I said,
that Patriots fans that we just said because Brady. All right, suck it. Moving on.
Ooh. So, last question because the next topic.
Yeah.
Right now, because this is going to change every week. I know we're going to discuss this story topic every week going forward to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. If you had to pick a team right now to win the East, right now, pick it right now. Who do you think will win the East right now?
The Giants. I still got the Giants. And unless something catastrophic happens, I'm going to stick with the Giants. I know that they have a harder schedule, but if you expect me to show belief in Kirk Cousins, I can't do it. You like that?
Dude, I have to be honest with you, though. I've knocked him for years. He's looked kind of decent the last couple of weeks. He's actually looked good. He hasn't had those multiple title interception games this year.
Against who? Exactly.
No. I get they haven't played the competition. That you're correct. Though. I'm just saying that he has looked competent. If that's the right word to use in this situation.
Matter of fact, I'll even build on that. The biggest and best chance for the Cowboys to actually beat the Redskins, perhaps even sweep them, is to watch Kirk Cousins make mistakes and take advantage of them.
Yeah. Speaking of mistakes, Or not my mistake, and not yours either, because we've been saying this all year long, and people thought I was crazy. People on Twitter are telling me, "Well, you're nuts. Oh, this team's real." What did I tell you about that? What did I tell you, especially you, my friend Danny Thompson of the NBA Full Court Press and the morning tip-off? I see you. What did I tell you week one? I wasn't even like week one, and then every week, even unbeaten, said you're a team of frauds, and they'll be caught. What did I tell you about the Atlanta Falcons?
I mean, look, I'll be honest. If you said it in week one, props, because I wasn't even on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I was saying that. I don't trust it. Because he was one talking smack. Oh, this is our year. We're going to win the NFC South, and we're going to do this in the playoffs. I'm like, dude, well, you're a good team. Slow down. Enjoy the process. But we've seen this story before, you guys. And the story's still being
that is true. That is true. And I'll give Danny Thompson in iota a smidge of credit, okay? The NFC South is a pretty bleeping low bar until we found out the Panthers were going to go 11-0. Remember what? I mean, in week one, that's a pretty low bar to be set.
Yeah.
But then we saw them start to play, and they're like, oh, they're 3-0. Okay, granted, they've only played the Puerto Rican bobsled team, Wasamata U, and your mama University State. Okay.
Right. And by the way, games they should have lost too. Should have lost to Philly week one. Philly blew that game. Even though they were down big, they came back, had a lead late in the game, missed a field goal, and that was it. The Giants game they should have lost too. Remember, Giants were 5 yards from being up 17 in the fourth quarter.
So look, we could go through their whole set of fraudulence. We could talk about their whole thing of going 5 of the past 6, including losing to the 49ers. But also
and Kyle, real quick, I could also dissect their 6 wins and flip them to losses. Remember that Redskins game you and I were talking about? We were texting each other about. You pissed about Suicide League. Remember that?
I was already going to go there. We could suffice it by describing their wins. The overtime with the Redskins you mentioned, because we are like-minded there, and the fact they only beat the goddamn Titans by 3 points. Get out of my house with your Atlanta Falcons. They're nothing but a bunch of dirty birds. See what
By the way, the Titans without Mariota.
Garbage.
Just for the record. Everyone else throw more salt into the wounds there real quick.
Zach bleeping Mettenberger. Okay?
By the way, they're 6-5 now, and I'm looking at standings, and I don't even think they're in the playoffs at the start today. Nope, they're out.
Hey,
Seattle's number 6.
Something I thought I'd never say. Thank you, Minnesota Vikings. Boom.
Yeah. Yep. And I put Minnesota on notice last week on one of my pods, saying that if y'all don't win this week, I don't want to talk to y'all.
Apparently, they're like, oh, okay, I guess you're going to let me in the club now.
That's right. 8-3 and back in first place too in the NFC North for the record. Good job, Packers.
Come right in.
Yeah, but here's the thing now, Atlanta. Now it's a situation where if the playoffs start today, you're out because Seattle's number 60 now. They won a big game against Pittsburgh.
Right. And you're expecting Seattle to hold serve.
Yeah. Can we say this is going to hold now? I think it will hold. I think this is going to hold the rest of the year.
No, I can't say that. There's too much imbalance with things that are going on. I can't take Seattle seriously yet because here's the thing. I did pick them to beat the Vikings. But the fact that I have to stop and think about that, check that. Let's say that the Seahawks had to play the Bears. Not an easy one to pick. You think you could pick Seattle outright? Oh, you may eventually after contemplating it, but it's not an easy pick. And that in itself slows me to be that confident in the Seahawks. That's it.
Well, let's go to it because right now we're at a point now where look, the Falcons ain't winning the South. No. Carolina's way ahead though. Yeah. In fact, I think they clinch this week if they win their next game. Here's their schedule going forward. It's kind of brutal actually. If you think about it, because of the road games going to play. Their next 3 games on the road. At Tampa, which could be a loss.
Yep.
At Carolina, which is definitely going to be a loss.
Yep.
At Jacksonville, which has been showing some life, at least as of late.
No sale. That's a win for the Seahawks. I'm not even close on it.
No. This is the Falcons.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, the Falcons. Oh, God, that is tough. Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And Jaguars are playing for jobs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's legit.
Then Carolina again. Now, granted, Carolina may have things wrapped up by then. So this could be open door possibly there.
Through that, Derek Anderson at the backup position will still beat them. He did a great job filling in for Cam last year.
Very true. Good point. And then New Orleans. So you have games here, dude. Like in terms of give me's here, I see none. None.
I think they'll beat New Orleans.
But will that game matter at that point? Because if Seattle catches by the rest of the year and they fall behind, they're done.
Okay, well, so they're going to miss the playoffs, but they're going to beat Null.
That's what I'm saying. So basically you're saying here, let's say they lose 4 in the next 4. They're now 6-9. They're done. So let me ask you quick though. On a serious note, why are they bad right now? Why
are the Falcons bad? It's the same reason as every year. Where the hell is the defense? Where's the defense? Where's the defense? Okay, look, Matt Ryan has been keeping people in games much more than he has to be. I'm not as big a Matt Ryan fan as you and G. Steelio are. I think he's a smidge. I mean, I'm talking just a little bit overrated. I'm not going to tell you he's bad.
Okay, I'll give you that. Maybe he's a little overrated, but he's definitely a top 15 quarterback in the league, if you ask me.
Right. Well, and let's go with that statement. I'm not in the mood to break it down that much. I don't think it's wrong categorically, so I'll say this. Right. He's a top 15 quarterback in the league, which means he's good enough to he's bad enough to cut maybe, but he's too good to replace easily. And he's sitting in that world since about the 2011-2012 range and just hasn't gotten out. It's kind of like being friend zoned by Christina Hendricks. It's a painful.
And that would annoy me. Quickly to the Seahawks though. They won a huge game against Pittsburgh. Okay, they're 6-5 now, and I think I trust them to complete this. Now, the Jimmy Graham injury could be an issue.
No,
I mean he has to be out in cold all year long, but I think now that's kind of out the way now. They can just focus on what they have now because I know a lot of the issues all year long was trying to get him the ball.
Right, and
now that's gone now. So
they still weren't that good at doing it. EJ, I completely disagree with you here. Graham off the field, I could even argue it's addition by subtraction.
No, I'm actually agreeing with that. I'm actually thinking that actually may be better for them now because they go back to their previous ways of playing. You know, not have to worry about getting the ball to him all the time.
So much for compelling debate.
No, I agree with you. Could it hurt? He's still a weapon, yes, but they spent a lot of portions of the season trying to get the ball to him. Maybe one of the reasons why they fell apart early in the year was because of that.
I could be.
He probably doesn't fit this offense.
I think part of it is, and I'm going to give Russell Wilson credit here. So you make sure you mark this on your damn calendar as the day this happened before you tell me. It's on the phone. Okay. I don't tell me
first. Kyle Nash.
Right. Russell Wilson was smarter in the Steelers game more than I've ever seen him be about rolling out with the football. Okay. Right. He actually stood in and made some throws. Which, if I'll tell you what, and this isn't a knock on Russell Wilson, I'm saying he's shown everybody now that defense. We already knew that defense wasn't as good as it was, say, in the past couple of years, even maybe last year. But they've fallen off more than you may have thought. The Steelers are an offense-first team now, and this game against the Seahawks, based on Russell Wilson's performance, has proven that true.
Well, I like I said, there's really one. I think Green Bay recovers. They're going to recover and win some games. Maybe not in the division, but they'll recover and find 10 wins out of there. Go ahead.
To the Lions on Thursday. I'll change my tune there. But I think you're right about Green Bay that they'll bounce back. And since we're talking about the Seahawks, we're incomplete if we don't talk about that Thomas Rawls is doing a great job.
That's your boy.
That's
your boy.
That is my boy.
Your boy. Mm-hmm. By the way, so trust factor lies in Seattle. Over Atlanta. It's really a two-team race. Although Chicago's a game behind, although, Tampa's a game behind, rubber hits the road. Seattle's a better team with the 4 teams involved in this whole race.
Oh, sure. Well, look, you're saying it's a trust battle, okay? I'm going to trust Jabba the Hutt more than I trust Darth Vader because at the end of the day, if I can find a way to make Jabba money, he's going to be on my side. Darth Vader's always going to cram a lightsaber up my butt, okay? There you go.
Kyle Nash, I present to you Seattle's schedule next 5 weeks. At Minnesota. Win. At Baltimore.
Win.
2 wins there?
Yeah.
Okay. Cleveland, home. St. Louis, home.
Win.
At Arizona, which may not even matter at that point.
Loss.
Even if it doesn't matter? Let's say Arizona's locked in the 2 seed by then.
They're still
very possible.
They're still going to be trying to play. If they're locked into the 2 seed, I don't think. I'll put it this way: if they're locked into the 2 seed, maybe they'll sit Palmer. That's a smart thing to do. I have no reason to believe that they'll be guaranteed a 2 spot at that point. Simply because if the Vikings continue to do well, maybe they'll fight for it as well.
I think the one loss here might be the game next week. That's it. I think they can go 4-1 this next 5 weeks. If that scenario Arizona especially plays out to be true, like what I just said, then I think that's where Seattle wins 10 games this year.
Their schedule's pretty soft at this point. I got to agree.
Yeah, that's why that game against Pittsburgh was huge.
Which, by the way, I better see a gift basket from Pete Carroll to that official that missed the batted ball out of bounds on Monday night where they actually lost to the Lions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you know that. Last time, where did you go? And then they're 1. The Panthers. Still perfect.
Yep.
I mean, I know Dallas is bad this year, but Vegas had Dallas as a favorite last week. I thought Dallas would win last week. Remember, I picked Dallas on this podcast, and I thought they'd win the game because I just thought Romo being back would be enough. Carolina for a week. Not only did Carolina win that game, they destroyed them.
Yes.
I'm 11-0 now. They're the lone unbeaten team now.
Right.
The road to perfection at this point now. Every week we try to find holes in this team, and every week we look more stupid.
Well,
are they going to lose? Where's the loss coming?
So let's be clear about one thing. There are holes on this team. They're just good enough at what they're good enough at to still keep in control of the football game. Okay. The key is to stop the run, limit Greg Olsen, and have force a receiver to make a big play. And as many footballs as Ted Ginn Jr. has dropped, and Jericho Cotchery being, pretty aged himself, Derek Funchess being a rookie, and what's his name? I think it's like Corey or Cody Brown. I don't know. He's
all these guys are why you're painting my Cam Newton for MVP picture. All these guys you're mentioning to me.
Sure. The last person I saw people like that look good. Here, I'll list off the list of names that he made look good, and then you'll know who it is. Austin Collie, Pierre Garçon, Ben Utrecht, Brandon Stokely.
Is it my quarterback's brother?
It is your quarterback's brother. Correct.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Peyton Manning as a Colt.
Yeah.
Props to Brady, like I said about Dobson earlier. I didn't want to go back to that because I was just there. But yeah, certainly, Troy Brown's a good receiver. He ain't a number 1. I'm just saying. Moving on.
Okay. I present to you now Carolina's schedule next 5 weeks. I do this every week now, the schedule thing. Because at this point, this is what it comes down to. Is this who you play? All right, next 5 games. They go to New Orleans. That's always a tough game because it's a divisional game. I could see a loss there, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. Atlanta, I could see one because it's one of those weird matchups where sometimes if Drew Brees decides to show up in 1 week and,
All other things being equal, EJ, please keep in mind that on the strength of a good defense, not even elite defense, a good defense in Texas, with the Texans, I should say, Brian Hoyer outscored Drew Brees. Carry on.
Well, it wasn't, but to be fair, it was in Houston. This game's in New Orleans. You know how the dynamics go sometimes with the home field, especially in New Orleans too when they're,
Yeah.
Atlanta, that's a win.
Yeah, that's a win. Might as well put 2 down because you're going to see 2 of those.
There are 2 of those. Okay. This game's interesting because, it's my team, the Giants, at New York.
I'll tell you.
You can't say that. Remember, you saw the New England 2 weeks ago. They're the one of those. They play up for the great ones. They play down for the bad ones.
Screw just New England 2 weeks ago. How about New England back in 2000 when the Patriots were in the same position and got to the 16-0 in that
week 17. Yes.
Yeah. That was a hell of a football game. One could even argue it may have been more entertaining than the Super Bowl match.
It was because of the offense. There was a lot more stuff going on, but
if you think I'm ruling the Giants out here, you're out of your mind. The Giants play up for the bigger teams. Tom Coughlin is a far better coach than Ron Rivera could even imagine to conceive to dream of being.
Okay. So that could be one of the losses there. And then Tampa at home, week 17. I don't know how Ron Rivera is going to approach this game. If they were 16-0, 15-0 rather, would he approach it as let's go for the record? Would he approach it as let's do a Jim Caldwell thing and rest our guys?
No.
I don't know.
He's going to attack. You don't tell
you have to.
Sleeping Newton to sit down. But that Bucks game, I'm going to say it now. It's a trap. Okay?
Yep. I agree with you there.
Anyways.
I agree. Anyway, you can follow my man Kyle Nash on Twitter at the SOTG. NGSEsports.com. Find all our great work there. And I say great work because we do put in some great work there. All us two, all the guys there at the site. Great stuff going. We got a lot of great articles there. Check it out. NGSE Sports. Oh, and the NGSE Sports Radio Network. Ooh. iTunes, Spreaker.
All of it.
All of it. Boom.
Radio. Hey, YouTube page, Sports Symposium, still a thing. Boom.
Oh, yeah. That's right. The Symposium. You got another one coming out soon, don't you?
Yeah, I got to call up Demos. That should be up already. What's he doing? I'm going to have to get on.
You finished that? You already finished it?
You should have, I would think, unless something went wrong. Because here's the thing. He does work a couple jobs. He might have a but right. If it's not this week, it should be next week. You're definitely going to have it before Christmas.
So check it out. The Christmas present Sports Symposium. I won't say what the title is yet. We'll wait till it comes out. Anyway, Kyle Nash, a pleasure as always, brother.
Honor and privilege, man. Until next.
Go ahead and say it.
Class dismissed.